We had a nice trending day in the S&P today, which is really triggered with the breakout of our morning levels. As soon as we broke above that 7 a.m. high, you'll notice that happened right here, closer to that 9 a.m. mark. That was really where the S&P started to get its legs under itself. This led to some really nice movements in the S&P, so much so that we broke above even the aggressive, the doomsday aggressive, and eventually the conservative clouds as well. All of that signals a lot of bullish strength and activity. The question starts to enter, I think, in a lot of our heads, which is this the next leg up higher inside of the S&P? And if so, where are some potential opportunities that we can try and participate for the overall bullish upside move, playing into that 4621 price point? Now, using that, we're going to look at all of these triggers that we had today using our two different scans that we like to use, the squeeze scans. The first one is going to be the Slingshot squeeze scan. This is the first set of criteria, moves in which we're starting to gain bullish momentum. The second scan, which I think is going to be the more useful one today, is places in which that momentum is already present, and we're looking for it to start to accelerate, very similar to what the S&P did in the mornings today. Now let's start first with our easier batch of signals right here, which are the Slingshot squeeze signals. Now, as a reminder, the scans that we're going to use along with the backtester are all available for free for download on the Squeeze course website for all of our Volatility Box members. All you need to do is scroll down, you'll see the Squeeze Signals backtester, the Slingshot Squeeze backtester, along with the scans that we're going to be using in today's video, which are right here, the Slingshot Squeeze scans and the Squeeze Signal scans. So that's where you can get all the tools for today's video. Now let's actually get started with some analysis. Let's start with the Slingshot Squeeze first. So I'll load in our backtester right here. And we're just going to go through the three different scan results that we have. The first is inside of Darling Ingredients, and that's ticker symbol DAR. Now inside of there, we have the Slingshot Squeeze appearing today. Let me actually also load in our squeeze indicator just so we can keep things a bit more systematic. Now here what you should notice is the pattern inside of the squeeze looks like we're starting to gain momentum. We're seeing that really appear right here with the yellow arrow. That's the Slingshot squeeze. We have an overall bullish market pulse with a current stage of accumulation. So all of that is positive sign so far. If we take a look at the backtester results, 3 winners so far out of the past 5 years, 0 losers. 5 years is dictated by this time frame right here. The average winner has been 4.02%, so a muted winner compared to some of the more volatile stocks, but still something interesting here. The average trade duration, 14.67 days. So that's the first signal. Any pullbacks again to the market pulse are where I would prefer to buy as opposed to trying to buy out of these breakouts. But if you were a breakout trader, then I think really we're looking for this overall previous resistance point to be taken out in order to then see new highs. So that's the first ticker, DAR, which does backtest well. We keep moving forward. The next symbol, Stride. Stride, one less data point, so only 2 winners, 0 losers. Average winner here, a bit bigger, 7%. Average trade duration, a bit shorter, 8.5. You also take a look at the charts. Doesn't look as extended as Darling Ingredients. And if we zoom in right here, you'll notice that we currently have a yellow, meaning a slower compression squeeze forming. Again, all of which are bullish signs. So Stride would be another company for those of you looking to try and play the squeeze. Again, a little less data than I think we would like, and you'll notice that there's some nicer tickers, especially JCI, which we'll cover in just a second. Now, finally, the last ticker we have inside of the Slingshot squeeze is MET. This one very clearly doesn't backtest well. 2 winners, 3 losers. The average loser is also bigger than the average winner. So all around here, MetLife is just not a stock that I think makes the radar. So from the Slingshot squeeze, we have Darling Ingredients along with Stride. Now let's move on to the second list, which is where we have momentum already in the markets, and we're looking for that to start to really get going. Here, I think there's some more interesting opportunities, especially with today's action that we saw, the buying activity. And I'll start with the first one, which is my favorite, which is JCI. Inside of JCI here, we have 7 winners, 0 losers. So, consistently so far over the past 5 years, this has been a good signal. Now, whether or not it works this time, that's not really our job to try and question that. Rather, I would focus on what the statistics have been. So 7 winners, 0 losers. That really inspires confidence to try and take the trade for those of you that are a little bit trigger shy. 4.57% is the average winner. So again, not anything crazy, but still a nice consistent winner over the past 7 times. The average trade duration, right around 10 days. So this is a nice trade in my opinion, probably the best of the signals that we have really out of the entire bunch. Now, if we start from the top to review the others, we have F5 network. There, 0 winners, 1 losers, so we can skip that. Next up, we have LKQ. This one also backtests fairly well. 5 winners, 1 loser. However, that 1 loser, negative 12.59%, which is really the cautionary sign here. The reason why I would prefer skipping LKQ, mostly because of that 1 loser being 12.59%, taking out a lot of the gains here. If you actually take a look at 5 times 2.85%, subtracted from 12.59%, overall the strategy in LKQ doesn't necessarily inspire confidence similar to JCI. Now we keep moving forward here. We have Yeti. Yeti, very similar data statistics here, but also very similar on the loss side. 5 winners, 1 loser, average winner 5.73%, average loser negative 15.6%. However, this time if you took the average winner, you multiply that by the number of winners, and you subtracted that from the losers, your score here, if you were to sort of think of this as a ranking mechanism, is still positive, however, not as good as some of the other tickers we've been seeing so far. And then finally, we have interpublic group here, 4 winners, 1 loser. This one, the scenario is a little bit flipped. The average winner here, 6.35%. The average loser, negative 2.2%. So that's what we like to see, greater winners than losers. Our losers are a bit more contained. Our winners are the ones that we get to let run a little bit more. And our average trade duration, 7.6 days. So this should give you an idea of a few different places where you can pay attention. Now, for all of our Volatility Box members who have access to this tool, the next step that I would take here is coming into a stock like, say, JCI and starting to test out what are the exit conditions. Now, we know the signal is triggered true today. We have a beautiful squeeze forming, a whole lot of positive histograms here, really suggesting positive movement. You can also see that very clearly in the stock chart. You don't necessarily need the momentum bars to tell you that. However, where I think this gets a bit more interesting is if we come inside of our back tester, you can open that up, and inside of the exit type, if you change that from no squeeze to losing momentum, meaning the squeeze is fired, and we're now looking for that first dark blue bar to actually appear, meaning momentum starting to slow down, we click OK, we click Apply. Let's see what happens. 6 winners, 0 losers, but the average winner here jumped up just a tad to 5.88%. So still 100% win rate. Riding at that squeeze momentum here leads to slightly bigger winners, although one time that caused you to have one less trade opportunity. So that's one interesting tidbit inside of JCI. If we take a look at something similar inside of LKQ, you'll notice that this changes drastically. Inside of LKQ, if you waited for the momentum to start to decrease, that one loser jumped up to negative 41%, meaning that you should definitely not be waiting for the squeeze to actually start to lose momentum here. Don't try and ride out the squeeze in LKQ if you are participating in this. Instead, wait for the squeeze to fire and get out as soon as it fires, because statistically, that's been the best time to actually exit. You can repeat the same exercise inside of the Slingshot squeeze tickers as well, and you can repeat this every single day. Again, just as a reminder, you can download the Backtester on our squeeze course page right here, as long as you're a Volatility Box member. Slingshot Squeeze Backtester, Squeeze Signals Backtester, those are the two that we talked about, along with the scans. All right, I hope this video is helpful for those of you looking to try and find places to participate in, especially after the nice move up we saw in the markets today. Looking for that continuation to come into play. Well, now you have a few stocks that have back tested well that give you an opportunity to try and play this overall move up higher if there is one in the markets. All right, take care everyone. Good luck trading, and we'll see you in the next update.